Hello and welcome to Jams, and today we're going to be playing some Orcs Must Die. Reason we're doing this is because there's an Orcs Must Die 2 that's come out fairly recently. Oh, and blood, gore and violence. That's really why we're doing this. Blood, gore and violence. So we're just going to jump straight in and have a playthrough. It's a good little game. It's kind of halfway between a tower defense and a third-person shooter, and I'm really a fan of third-person shooters. I like them. Nothing wrong with first-person, but I like third-person shooters. And as far as sort of that combination with the tower defense game, there's not much out there like that. There's things like Dungeon Defenders, but I think this is done better in a more traditional way with traps in with the tower defense, that sort of stuff. So jump straight in. Press any key. I clicked because I'm a rebel. And there's Gandalf, and he's a rebel too. And we're fighting the Empire, stopping them from getting into the giant Stargate behind him. So yeah, that's it. We stop the Orcs from getting in through this kind of wormhole thing that lets them out into reality. Gandalf dies. It's a pretty simple storyline. Dies in probably the most unfortunate way possible. Slips, cracks his head on that step. After killing all those guys, which is a bit upsetting. A very pyrrhic victory. And maybe we killed all those guys with our giant blue stringed crossbow. Because, you know, that's the thing. So, yeah, the Orcs come in here, and you see these blue lines come through. They give you an idea of which way the Orcs are going to walk. They walk towards this rift, they go in, you lose points for the Orcs getting through the rift, and you lose points for dying as well. The more stuff you have at the end, the more traps you can buy in the next round, and the more new things you can get. This always reminds me of kind of the lost city of Atlantis, I think it was. Atlantis, the Lost Empire, the Disney film. Maybe it's all the blue, or maybe it's just the design of these pillars, I don't know. But something about that always reminds me of that film. So we'll go ahead and open our spellbook with B, call up Blade Staff, it's a frickin' sword, couple of traps, and this arrow wall one, which I'm kind of cheating by having, just because speed up the gameplay of the first level, because it just takes forever otherwise. Just lay a bunch of these down, and yeah, B was spellbook, right? Makes sense. B book, and yeah, especially considered the S is taken for the down backwards key. So where's G, unleash the horde? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, E, fair enough, because E's use, but G, really, I think maybe U for unleash. Come on, Robo Entertainment, I'm looking at you. Logic. Then maybe that's it. Maybe I'm looking for logic in a game that's got a magic crossbow shooting orcs to prevent them from getting in a rift, and there being giant traps everywhere. I don't know. So yeah, you just kind of let the orcs get knocked off by the traps, and then just fuck them up, really. You get these guys, the Archer Guardians. You can place, they're a trap that you can actually place down as the game progresses. They're pretty good. The only downside to them really being is that if you sneeze in their general direction, they die. Their health bar is, well, non-existent, which can be quite frustrating. But on the other hand, if you get a line of them at the end of a corridor, they can fuck up the whole couple of ranks of orcs. You know, like that first scene from Lord of the Rings, where they just ruin the first like 2 ranks of Sauron's army. Now, I know these traps don't get set off if I stand on them, which is quite nice, but I don't know what happens. I know if I walk in front of this, this doesn't get set off, but I'm not really sure what happens if an orc sets it off and then I stand in front of the stuff. I wonder if I take damage. I'm not willing to try because I reckon it'll probably kill me. Fuck it, let's do it. No, apparently not. Okay. Come on, no. There we go. Another thing I like with this game is if you kind of fire, the target rescue just gets bigger and your accuracy goes to hell, which is quite nice. It's a game feature you don't see outside of games like Call of Duty very often, but I like it. It's a nice touch. It's kind of frustrating if you get later on and you do panic a little bit and you kind of forget that that's a thing. You don't line up the shot properly, you just kind of spam. Or die. Arrows to the butt. So yeah, I apologise the sound and kind of the music's turned off because it for some reason there's no low enough setting for this to be done so that you can hear me over it, which is kind of annoying. I kind of wish you could hear the orcs. The orcs are kind of like the battle droids were in the third of the Star Wars films, Revenge of the Sith. Oh, and a little dance. They sort of turn. What is that guy doing? What is that guy doing? What is he slumped over? So where was I? Yes, the battle droids. They just say random things like "ow" when you hit them, or "ah, it hurts in my mind," or "my leg, my nuts," whatever. It's nice for a little bit of comedy when you're shooting at them. So yeah, so we get skulls for winning. And with the skulls you can invent or buy new traps. I mean, I wonder if if it's just the skulls are a currency, or you walk into an inventor's shop and go, "This is the skull of the last inventor who did invent an arrow wall for me. Now you're going to invent me an arrow wall, aren't you?" The poor guy's like, "Yes, please don't stab me in the ass with your blade staff. I mean sword." So the different level design. This time we got a paladin instead of the archer guardians. This guy's kind of useful with his giant ass sword. You can stand there and lop the heads off of things. The orcs will quite usefully attack him preferentially over me, and attack him preferentially over going to the rift, which is kind of useful if you can kind of place one here in corridors like this, and it kind of slows them down. I think it's really there just because it's the second level and it's just trying to be nice to you. Once again, G to unleash the horde. So there we go, arrow walls and the rest of it. So yeah, the orcs are kind of more of a comedic bad guy than an actually serious one. I mean, as you see, they're dying pretty easily. As the game progresses, they get shields, so you have to hit them twice as opposed to once, which, isn't really much of a challenge. But it does mean that traps have to hit them twice. So I mean, with these, the arrow traps, you can kind of kill 2 or 3 orcs with them. But as the game progresses, you kind of only kill sort of 2 or so with arrow traps, because they just block it with the shields. Which I will say is kind of frustrating, but you get better traps as the game progresses. So they get spiked, they get arrowed, they get sharp blown up as things go further. You get, I think one of the best ones, you get a ballista turret thing, which you can just place down. It's kind of an auto turret that will just continue firing at everything. and one of those ballista bolts can go through like 2 orcs. But of course, the level's amount of orcs are designed for you to be able to place those. You also get other things other than orcs. You get kind of little kobold things with gunpowder on their backs, which blow up bits of the traps, or they one or two of them will be able to kill that paladin guardian that we're rapidly going towards at quite an alarming rate. How did that happen? And yeah, you can place barriers down, which kind of I don't recommend just blocking off a bit. I mean, I'll show you when we get there, but they get blown up by these little kobold things, and you can use them to kind of funnel the orcs, but it's quite irritating when these guys blow it up and there's just a massive hole in the defences. I really find them really annoying. So yeah, the blade staff. I can go up and just, I can hit this guy, but I take quite a bit of damage. You see, that's just one orc just hitting me, and it takes me a couple of swipes at him. So to be honest with you, I don't use it very much. It's mostly there just for the hell of it. You can use it later on with some of the big bad guys, some of the ones you really want to get rid of, some like the ogres and things. You can use some magic to freeze them, and then you hit them once, and they fall to tiny little pieces, which is quite useful. Okay, so here we got kind of a break in the battle, and you can see on the mini-map sort of the red areas are the danger zones, as it were. The danger zone from Top Gun. No. Watch, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it and just shut up. Also from the TV show Archer, which, good TV series. Go and watch it. Give me free stuff. I mean, what? Who said that? Nobody said that. Nobody said that. Yeah. Yeah. Orcs. So you can use the blade staff you can kind of just sort of run about like this and kind of circle of death some of these guys, because but to be honest with you, I don't tend to do it because it means you don't get the traps killing them. So I don't really like it. I think it's more effective to just crossbow the buggers. Except for that one apparently, where I'm completely failing to get a headshot. There you go. Random dance, and splits for no reason. I mean, that's gotta hurt if you do that on cobbles that really quite smack your balls on the floor. I mean, maybe he's got worms. You know, like when your dog sits on the floor and like rubs its ass up and down. It's because it's got worms. Maybe the Rift Defender has worms. Okay, so I'm gonna knock it on the head for there today. Like, subscribe, and tune in probably tomorrow, maybe the day after, for some more of this. We're gonna keep going and do a whole playthrough, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. See you soon. Bye.